Good morning. Is audio working? Great. Good morning. Welcome to a little bit of a yoga practice to get your day going. My name is Megan. We're going to start today with a bit of a breathing practice and then get to moving. We'll have a little bit of a core work, just teeny little bit. I just want to give you a heads up and it'll be fun. No, it'll be fun, I promise. And then we will move a little and then come to standing at the end. So if you want to find yourself in a seat, I am again sitting on a blanket. It feels a little bit better for me to have my hips a little bit higher, so that's always an option. Sit on the blanket or onto the floor. And actually for this breath work, if you wanted to come onto your back, you could do that as well. We're going to be doing this breath work that rotates us between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. So our parasympathetic are what they call rest and digest, when we're calm and our body is able to digest food, digest experiences easier, our heart rate's lower, we just feel calm. And then our sympathetic nervous system are what they call our fight or flight, when our energy heads to our limbs in preparation to run or to fight, and our heart rate might increase a little bit. We go through both of these throughout the day, but a problem can happen when there's an imbalance and we stay more in the sympathetic or in the fight or flight. So this breath work takes us between the two. So getting into either a comfortable seat or on your back. And if you'd like to close your eyes, you could do that or just let your gaze relax down, just so that your attention turns inward. And either way, whether you're on your back or seated, we're going to find some length in the spine. So if you're seated, take a moment to feel your sit bones pressing into whatever you're sitting on. If you're on your back, you might think about lengthening sit bones long toward a wall. And then again, we come to that swirly part of the crown of our head and we find a lift either to the ceiling if we're seated or toward the opposite wall if we're lying down. And then bringing awareness to your breath. And we're coming back to this thought of this Buddha belly breathing, this full belly inhale. So you might even think today about belly and chest expanding in as many directions on your inhale as possible. And then we'll just exhale naturally for the time being. We talk about this type of breathing, this expanding out to the sides, as more of a parasympathetic engager. So take a few moments, see how this feels in your body this morning. And when you're ready, continue to inhale in this way. It's expanding out in all directions. And then on your exhale, think about lengthening through the crown of your head and through your sit bones. So the inhales open you out to the sides. And these exhales lengthen you top to bottom. So this length in the spine, these exhales, engaging a bit of the sympathetic nervous system. This fight or flight, bringing everything toward the center. But our inhales opening us up into the parasympathetic. Exhales lengthening long into the sympathetic. A few more moments in this practice. Movements can be subtle. You may not even feel like you're moving much at all. But considering the intention behind it. And after your next exhale, releasing control of your breath. Bring hands together, and you might press thumbs towards heart center. And take a moment to set an intention, and that could be specifically for this practice this morning, or maybe it's for the rest of your day. And this morning we'll seal an intention in, your intention with a cleansing breath. Take a full inhale through your nose and let it out of your mouth. If you are seated, stay exactly where you are. If you're on your back, begin to make your way to a seat. And we're just going to start here by opening up the wrists a bit. So with your hands still in prayer, begin to press your hands together, pulling thumb toward your heart space. And then we'll begin to pull thumbs down toward the belly button. So continue to press hands together. Shoulder blades are pulled down the back, and slowly those slowly part of the head. So you might start to feel an opening through the forearms, opening through the front of the wrists. And when that feels complete, we'll bring thumbs back to heart center. And this morning, I think we'll just release the hands and start to come into some rotations through the wrists. So if you want to bring hands into fists, if that feels better, and just start rotating through wrists. Maybe you want to open the fingers and a couple of movements through the fingers. And then we'll start to expand this movement from wrists. If you wanted to, I call this the Arsenio Hall, or back in the day, find some rotation through the elbows, or really just opening up or waking up the arms. And then this movement might expand up toward the shoulders, a couple of rolls of the shoulders. And moving just in a way that feels really nice for a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to meet with hands on the legs, palms down, coming into some seated cat-cows. So for this, you might want to lean forward into the inhale as you bring the breastbone forward and find an arch in the back. And on the exhale, pull your belly button towards your spine and find a round. So connecting breath with movement, inhale, come forward into the arch. And exhale, pull it back into the round. So since you're moving with your breath, this is at your pace. You may be faster or slower than me, and again, that's amazing. Doing what's right in your body this morning. We'll just take one more of these cat-cow seated inhale coming forward into the arch. And exhale back into the round. And then from here, coming into a rotation in the spine. So working with the breath, you might inhale, come forward. And then exhale, circle this back and around. So either direction to start, we're doing both. And this is something that you take this as big as you want to go. What feels right for you this morning? It may feel good to stay really close to the spine, the rotation, or it may feel really good to go big, maybe even lifting hips up off the floor. And I like to joke, you could always do a hair toss in the middle. Yeah, I love it. And before we switch sides, we'll come back to center and change the cross of our legs if our legs are crossed. So just bringing the opposite foot in front. And then we'll switch the rotation. This, for me, usually takes a couple of seconds to, yeah, that's right, figure out which one I didn't just do. So again, you might connect with the breath, with the inhales, bringing you forward in the rotation, and the exhales coming toward the back. And this side, maybe it wants to go bigger, maybe it wants to go smaller. Just honoring whatever feels right on this side. And then when this side feels complete, we will come back to our seat, neutral seat with a tall spine. From here, coming into side stretches. So you'll extend your right arm toward the ground, left fingertips toward the ceiling, reach tall, and then take your side stretch over into the side. So again, we can continue to think about the length through the crown of the head here, and gaze is wherever is comfortable. I like to look forward, maybe you want to look up, maybe it feels better to look down. Whatever feels best. So switch sides, we'll lift up through center, bringing opposite hand to the ground. This time you meet your right hand, right, reaching toward the ceiling, lifting tall, and then side stretching over. And find a comfortable gaze on this side. Maybe looking down, out to center, or up toward the ceiling. One more breath. Lifting up through center here, releasing hands down. So if you're sitting on a prop, at this point you'd want to remove it to the side. And we're gonna come back to the seat, but I'm gonna turn at a bit of an angle so you can see. We're gonna take feet wide, but bring hands behind, and fingertips could face you or turn out just a bit. We wanna lean back just to give ourselves a little space for the hips. And we're gonna come into some wide-kneed windshield wipers. So just dropping knees the same direction, and coming gently back through center, and then dropping to the opposite. And again, this is something that you take at your own pace, at a pace that feels right for you this morning. If there's anywhere you want to hang out, please hang out. And I'm going to turn to the back just for a moment to show you where we're headed. So continue to windshield wiper. And the next time your knees fall to the right, let them hang out there. And begin to press yourself tall. We're coming into a twist. So now my right hand can press down to lift my spine a little taller. Left hand might find the knee that's out, extended to the front. And maybe guiding me into a deeper part of the twist. Shoulder blades pull down the back, the length through the crown of your head. And then to switch sides, we'll begin to release. Bring both hands behind so that knees can come back through center, and then lower to the left, and then begin to press yourself tall. Left hand again might guide you a little taller. Maybe your right hand takes you a little deeper into the twist. Your gaze is where it's comfortable for the neck. When you're ready, we'll bring knees back to center. I'm going to turn at the angle again so you can see. So we'll bring the weight back in the hands a bit, but begin to bring your feet a little closer together. And then from here, we can stay right here, leaning back. We already feel the core engaged a bit. If you want to add a little more, you might start to lift your feet up off the floor. Maybe you bring knees a little closer together. Shoulder blades still pull down the back. A little lengthen the spine. And then if you want, if your legs are lifted, on an inhale, we'll lower heels to the ground. And on exhale, begin to lift. So just have 4 more of these. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. 2 more. 1 more, inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Gently lower feet to the floor, their hip width, or maybe a little wider. If it feels okay in your shoulders, we're going to press into the heels to lift the hips. So only lift to where the shoulders feel comfortable. I like to keep my head lifted. Maybe you lower it a bit. But press into heels. 1 more breath. And then we'll begin to lower the hips. It wasn't too bad. Cross your ankles, and then we're coming into a tabletop. So we're setting up like usual with wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath hips. And we'll take a moment to come back into the cat-cows this morning. On an inhale, drop the belly, look forward. On an exhale, press into your hands and round. Connecting movement with breath again. So your pace, your breath, your movements. And then feel free to begin to take this in any direction that your body wants to go. If that is coming to some barrel rolls, or bending the elbows. Just move in some way. Know that whatever you feel like doing is right, and explore the movement. And if you get somewhere that you don't like, you could always come out. We have a couple more breaths. Once everything is even for you, we're coming back to the tabletop. Go ahead and tuck your toes. Let's take a moment to set up with elbows bending out to the sides. Then squeeze your elbows towards your legs. Engaging this muscles along the rib cage. Start to straighten through the arms so that shoulders are plugged into the sides. Begin to lift your hips into your downward facing dog. And then from here, move in any way or stay still. I like to bend one knee at a time. Maybe you want to hang out. Take a moment to feel this length in the back body. And pause for a moment just in the shape and breathe. So there can be a bend in the knees here. You're like me, tight calves, tight hamstrings. It's totally fine. From this shape, we're going to lower down into a wide knee tabletop. So that our toes are coming together and then we can press back into a child's pose. Just for a breath. And then we did this the other day. We're going to move between these shapes with the breath. So when you're ready, on an inhale, come into your tabletop. On your exhale, press back to your downward facing dog. The inhale brings you to tabletop, wide knee. Exhale back to child's pose. So moving with these shapes with your breath, inhale, tabletop. Your pace, exhale, downward facing dog. Your inhale will always be into the tabletop. Your exhale is either child's pose or downward facing dog. We'll take a few more rounds. Next time you find yourself in downward facing dog, pause there. And then slowly begin to walk your feet towards your hands. So again, any type of bend in the knees that you want this morning, please take it. Once you find yourself in your forward fold, find a position that feels good for you. I like to step my feet a little wider, especially first thing in the morning. A bend in my knees. If you want to keep your connection to the floor, the hands, keep it. Or maybe you grab an elbow in each hand. Or again, you have the option of taking hands in fists and pressing them into your biceps with crossed forearms. And we can move, we can stay still. If you feel some tension around the neck, maybe give your head a little shake, yes and no. And when you're ready, if you're bound anyway, release your mind. For this first one, we'll find a deep bend in the knees and start to walk your hands up your legs, rolling up through the spine. So again, you have that option to find a couple of bounces through the knees, encouraging blood to come back up to the head. And then when you're ready, we're meeting in mountain pose. Pulling shoulder blades down the back, your palms might naturally open up to the front. That length through the swirly part of the crown of your head. I'm going to turn to face you. And when you're ready, on an inhale, bring arms or fingertips together above your head. This is a half sun A. On your exhale, bend your knees and fold forward, touch the floor. On an inhale, lengthen through the spine and touch your legs somewhere. Exhale, fold. Press into your heels and inhale, arms above your head. And exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend through the knees and fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms above your head. And exhale to heart center. Your breath, last one. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Inhale, arms above your head. Bring your hands to heart center and pause. If you'd like from here, I like to place one hand on the heart and the opposite hand on that hand. Eyes could close and gaze might relax down. Pause for a moment. Feeling some gratitude for yourself. Maybe gratitude for this practice, for the teachers who have come before us, and for anyone else practicing with us today. And then maybe extending the gratitude out to those in the medical field who are dealing with so much stress right now. Those working in grocery stores, in the shipping area, UPS, USPS. And to anyone who might be dealing with this virus at the moment. Sending them some compassion, some healing thoughts. And I thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.